Alright, in today's class, we are going to look into what is called acid, bases, and salts. A very important aspect in chemistry. But before we start, I would like you to know some certain things. For instance, if you are given this fruit, maybe the first one, fruit A, is a ripe orange. We have fruit B and fruit C. This one is unripe fruit. And this one is lemon. Which one are you going to choose? Ripe orange, right? Because you believe that this one will be what? Sweet, right? But this one we have a taste that we not like. It has a sour taste. The same thing with this one, it has a sour taste. Are you with me? Now the sour taste in unripe fruit or lemon is due to the presence of acid. Due to what? Presence of what? Acid. Are we clear? Now in the same way, if you have a fresh palm wine and you have the one that has stayed for days, maybe old palm wine, which one would you like to take? The fresh one, right? Because this one has enough sugars in it. Sugars like glucose that will make it to be sweet, right? But after some time, this fresh palm wine, we have a sour taste. True or false? Now the question is why? That is the question. Now I want us to understand something. In this case now, in the palm wine, we have the following things. We have glucose in it, which is the sugar. Well, let's just say sugar in general. We also have yeast in it. We also have bacteria in it. Now pay attention. At the beginning, this sugar is the glucose or the sugar is the reason why it has a sweet taste. Are you with me? But after some days, the sugar will undergo what is called alcoholic fermentation. What is called what? Alcoholic fermentation. Now, when it undergoes alcoholic fermentation, what do you think will happen? Will this sugar remain that way? No, it will be converted into something else. It will be converted into what is called ethanol and carbon 4 oxide. Into what? Ethanol and carbon 4 oxide. What is the formula of carbon 4 oxide? CO2. The formula is what? CO2. So ethanol and carbon 4 oxide. But they want you to know something. That the person that will do this conversion is the person called yeast. So yeast is the one that will catalyze this reaction to convert the sugar into ethanol and what? Carbon 4 oxide. Does that make sense? Now, what will be the next step? The next step is what is called oxidation. What is called what? Oxidation. And the one that will catalyze the reaction, that will help the reaction to undergo on the oxidation, is bacteria. So we can call it bacteria oxidation. We can call it what? Bacteria oxidation. What do you know about oxidation? Is it addition of oxygen or removal of oxygen? Addition of oxygen. Do you get that? For example, if you have hydrogen now, you add oxygen, this is oxidation. Are you with me? But when you remove oxygen, it is called what? Reduction. Does it make sense? So in this case now, there will be oxidation. What are we trying to oxidize? We are trying to oxidize this compound. Which compound? Ethanol. Is that clear? So we are going to have the ethanol. It will be converted, it will be oxidized, to undergo oxidation to form what is called ethanoic acid. What is called what? Ethanoic acid. Do you know the formula of ethanoic acid? It is CH3COOH. That's the formula of ethanoic acid. Does that make sense? So what am I trying to say? That the sour taste of old palm wine is also due to the presence of what? Acid. But which acid now? Ethanoic acid. Does it make sense? That ethanoic acid is also called acetic acid. It's also called what? Acetic acid. Are we clear with that? Now, this will now help us to look into what is called the basic concepts of acid. Let's look into the definitions of acid and bases. Now, pay attention. There are different scientists that gave us different definitions concerning acid and bases. Now, I will list the scientists first. The first one is what is called Arrhenius. It's the person called Arrhenius. First person is who? Arrhenius. The second person, there are two in number. Bronsted and Lowry. So we call it Bronsted-Lowry. Are you there? Now the third person is the person called Lewis. So we have Arrhenius concept of acid and basis. We have Bronsted-Lowry concept of acid and what? Basis. We also have Lewis concept of acid and what? Basis. Are you with me? Now we're going to take them one after the other. Starting with the first one, which is Arrhenius concept. Let's look at Arrhenius concept. Arrhenius concept. Now, according to Arrhenius, he defined acid and bases based on what they will do anytime they are dissolved in water. Anytime they are what? Dissolved in water. According to Arrhenius, pay attention, that an acid is that substance that will dissolve in water to produce what? Hydrogen ion as the only positive ion. I repeat, it's a substance that dissolves in water to produce what? Hydrogen ion as the only positive ion. Are you with me? Now, let's look at it. Take for instance, we use this acid now. Look at this gas. Look at this. HCl. This is hydrogen chloride gas. If we dissolve it in water, according to Arrhenius, it will produce two ions. The first one is hydrogen ion. Which other ion will remain here? Chloride ion, Cl-. Are you with me? Now this is a gas dissolved in water. It has produced ions. But I want you to know something. That these ions have been dissolved in water. They have been hydrated. Ions are what? Hydrated. Hydrated means that water has been attached to them. So that is why if you want to write them, put AQ, which means aqueous. Are you with me? AQ. Aqueous. Now, there is another point I want us to know. That after dissolving this acid in water, we observe something. We not just produce hydrogen ion. That hydrogen ion produced, we go further to combine with water molecule. To combine with what? Water molecule. This is the hydrogen ion. Combining with water, H2O. Now, how many hydrogen are here? 1. How many are here? 2. Total will be how many? 3. Are you with me? So it will give us H3O plus. Are we clear now? So this H3O plus is what is called hydroxonium ion. What is called what? Hydroxonium ion. Some people call it oxonium ion. So what is the name of the H3O plus? Hydroxonium ion. Also called what? Oxonium ion. So at this point, remember what I said earlier. That according to Arrhenius, he said that an acid is a substance that will produce what? Hydrogen ion as the only positive what? Ion when dissolved in what? In water. Is that clear? But now we've noticed something, that hydrogen ion produced will go further to combine with water to form what? Hydroxonium what? Ion. Also called what? Oxonium what? Ion. So at this point we can say that an acid is that substance that will dissolve in water to produce what? Hydroxonium what? Ion. Does that make sense? Now, what is the next point now? The next point I want us to know is what he said about bases. Now he said that acid produces hydrogen ion which combines with water to produce hydroxonium. Now what did he say about bases? According to Arrhenius, a base is that substance that will produce hydroxide ion. Hydrogen ion for acid and hydroxide for what? Base. So that a base will produce what? Hydroxide ion. Hydroxide ion. Now what do we use to represent hydroxide ion? OH minus. Are you with me? So acid producing what? Hydrogen ion. Base is producing what? Hydroxide ion. Do you get it? So now I want us to know something. That oxide or hydroxide of metals are bases. What did I say? That's what? Oxides or hydroxide of what? Metals are what? Bases. Now, that will trigger a question. If oxides of metals are bases, what will oxide of non-metals be? Acid. Are you with me now? So, oxide of metals are what? Bases. But oxide of non-metals are what? Acid. Are we clear? Now, give me one metal you know. Sodium. Are you with me? Sodium now. What is the symbol of sodium? Na. Are you with me? But sodium oxide, What is the formula? Na2O. This person can serve as a base. Are you with me? This oxide now, when it dissolves in water, it will form sodium hydroxide. It will form what? Sodium hydroxide. So if we have Na2O combining with water, H2O, we are going to have NaOH. This one is called sodium oxide. It's called what? Sodium oxide. But this one is called what? Sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide. Do you get? Now, according to Arrhenius, a base is that substance that will dissolve in water to produce what? Hydroxide ion. If you look at this, this is sodium oxide dissolving in water. Did it produce a hydroxide? Yes. So this person can also serve as a base. That's why I say that oxide or hydroxide of metals are what? Bases. Are we clear? Now, there is another point I want us to know. The next point I want you to know is this. That soluble bases are called alkalis. Are called what? Alkalis. Those bases that can dissolve in water, they are called what? Alkalis. There are two major examples I would like you to know. The two major examples I would like you to know are NaOH and KOH. Are you with me? What is the name of this compound? NaOH. Sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide. What's the name of this compound? KOH. Potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide. So it can be a question. Mention two alkalis you know. What is the answer? Sodium hydroxide and what? Potassium hydroxide. Will sodium oxide serve as a base? Yes, because it can dissolve in water to produce what? Hydroxide ion. Are you clear now? So according to Arrhenius, it says something. Acid will dissolve in water to produce hydrogen ion, of which we know it will go further to combine with water to form what? Hydroxonium what? Ion. And a base is that substance that will dissolve in water to produce what? Hydroxide ion. At that point we say that oxide or hydroxide of metals are what? Bases. That means that oxide of non-metals are what? Acid. Are we clear? Now, there is another point I want us to know. Now we've known what Arrhenius said about acid and bases. We've known that. Now let's check what the next person is saying. Who is the next person there? Bronsted-Lowry, right? Now let's check Bronsted-Lowry concept. Bronsted-Lowry. Now, I want us to get something in mind. That acids have hydrogen. Are you with me? I don't mean that every compound that has hydrogen is acid. Are you with me? Let me give you an illustration now. For instance, look at this. HCl. Is this an acid? Yes. HNO3. Is this an acid? Yes. H2SO4. Is this an acid? Yes. But look at this. CaHCO3. In bracket 2. Is it an acid? No. Even though it has hydrogen. Are you with me? The idea should know maybe hydrogen will start it. Are you with me? Good. Now, I want you to know something. Before we go into Bronsted-Lowry concept, that is the most important point you should know. And the point is that another name for hydrogen ion is what? Proton. What I say? Another name for hydrogen ion is what? Proton. So anytime I say proton, I'm also referring to what? Hydrogen ion. So the first point is that hydrogen ion is also equal to what? Proton. So when we say hydrogen ion, we are also referring to what? Proton. Are we clear, please? Now this person, Bronsted-Lowry, defined acid and bases using the word what? Proton. And that proton represents what? Hydrogen ion. Does that make sense? Now according to Bronsted, I have a question before we give the theory. Acid, do they have hydrogen ion? Yes. Do they have proton? Yes, because hydrogen is the same thing as what? Proton. Are we clear? Now, I have a question. If, let's say let's say you are in church and you want to make a donation. Are you with me? Will you donate what you have or what you don't have? What you have, right? So if acids have hydrogen, can they donate hydrogen? Yes. What's the meaning for hydrogen ion? Proton. So since they have proton, can they donate the proton? So will you call them proton donors or proton acceptors? Proton donors. So that is what Bronsted-Lowry is saying. So according to Bronsted-Lowry, an acid is a proton donor. An acid is a proton. Is a proton donor. Are you with me? So what will the base be if an acid is a proton donor? A proton what? Acceptor, correct. So a base is a proton acceptor. It can be your exam question. It will come this way. According to Bronsted-Lowry, an acid is a dash. What will be the answer? Proton donor. A base is a dash. What will be the answer? Proton acceptor. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, the last point, the last person there is what? Lewis constant. Lewis constant. Now, what Lewis said is just opposites of what Bronsted-Lowry said. Are you with me? Bronsted-Lowry described acid and bases in terms of what? Proton. What is the opposite of proton? Electron. Are you with me? So what Lewis used to describe acid and bases were what? Electrons. So this is the first point you should know, that Bronsted-Lowry described acid and bases in terms of what? Proton. While Lewis described in terms of what? Electron. Does that make sense? Now, since according to Bronsted, he said he called acid proton donor. So what do you think will an acid be in terms of electron? Remember, opposite. What will it be? An acid is what? No, we are looking in terms of electron. We are no longer using proton again. Electron, is it donor or acceptor? Electron acceptor. Because this person is saying proton donor. The opposite of proton here is electron. The opposite of donor here is what? Acceptor. So according to Lewis, an acid is an electron pair acceptor. Electron pair acceptor. That's the first thing you should know. An acid is an electron pair what? Acceptor. So what will a base be? Electron pair what? Donor. A base is an electron pair donor. Electron pair donor. Now, let me twist your brain a bit. Let's try. Let's check whether you can recall what I've said so far. An electron pair acceptor. Electron pair acceptor is what? Electron pair acceptor is what? Acid. Electron pair donor is what? Base. Proton donor is what? Acid, right? Proton acceptor is what? Base, right? Are you sure? Okay, that's by the way. Now, there is another point I want us to know.